The Libertarian Party, otherwise known as the Spoiler Party, which usually manages to snag a few million votes every presidential cycle, with their all-time best achieving 4 million votes back in 2016, has rejected both Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Donald Trump, roundly booing both. And instead, the Libertarian Party nominated a radical and highly controversial candidate, Chase Oliver. You see, despite his alignment with libertarian principles, Oliver, who also self-identifies as armed and gay, has taken radical stances in the past, including aligning himself with the hate group Antifa. This is the brown shirt-style organization, it's a reference to the Nazis, that is bent on hell-raising, murder, fear, and violence as their calling card, with their ultimate goal of tearing down the very fabric of the U.S. in the hopes of creating a new socialist or communist utopia, which of course just means mass death and ultimately tyranny for the masses. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Now, to dive into this topic further, let's use an article on the subject from the Post-Millennial. The article is titled, Libertarians Select Gay, Antifa-Loving, Trump-Hating, Vaccine Mandate-Supporting, Open Borders Enthusiast as the Presidential Candidate. That's a mouthful. Anyway, they write, the Libertarian Party has selected their preferred presidential candidate after a tumultuous weekend that saw speeches from both Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and leading GOP candidate and former President Donald Trump. The nominee is none other than Chase Oliver, the Antifa-loving, drag queen story hour backing, vaccine mandate-supporting, open border enthusiast who hates Trump. Oliver, who describes himself as armed and gay, has a history of taking radically left-wing positions. Now, during his victory speech, Oliver said, I will continue to bring hopeful and positive message of liberty to both those who consider themselves libertarian and those who don't know they are libertarian yet. He also pledged to his party cohorts that, quote, we can set the world free in our lifetimes and would end the genocide in Gaza. How? I don't know. Anyway, Oliver called Trump an authoritarian and said that other libertarians should not unite with him at the head of the Republican Party. He also did not want him to address the convention unless he would stand to debate the Libertarian nominee. Oliver, they write, has also defended Antifa, the leaderless group that wreaked havoc across the U.S. during the George Floyd riots of 2020 and is the force behind the ongoing Atlanta Stop Cop City protests, which he also supports. Now, Oliver has consistently shared content from Antifa groups in his Facebook account, and he's also compared those who fought in World War II to anti-fascists, which, of course, is utter nonsense. The term anti-fascist, by the way, is just a construct of communist and socialist supporters. It is a way that they use to inoculate themselves from criticism. This includes accusations of criminal activity because, after all, anything they do in the name of anti-fascism can be excused. They're the good guys. So no matter how much violence, no matter how much mayhem and murder that they might cause, well, they're anti-fascists. So they must be doing anti-fascist work. You see, if you label someone as a fascist, as an anti-fascist, well, even killing them isn't so bad, because they are stopping these people from living out their fascist dreams. Well, this is how these douchebags make themselves feel like they matter. It allows them to excuse to themselves their evil behavior because they can't really be doing bad things if their bad things are saving the world, don't you know? The term has just one real meaning, and it is to shut up and silence anyone who disagrees with them. You see, if you disagree with someone who's an anti-fascist, then what they could say is, well, if you disagree with us, then you must be the opposite of us. You must be fascist. That means you're an evil fascist supporter, or a fascist yourself. Now, the logic is stupid, and it appeals to all these useful idiots, which is really the point. The pawns of the greater evil behind them, they get to laugh and say, wow, what a bunch of idiots and morons, but still utilize this phrase and term. And that appears to be what Oliver has aligned himself with, because, as the article points out here, Oliver himself has claimed the label of being anti-fascist. Here's a couple of examples of Chase Oliver reposting Antifa propaganda. Here's one, him reposting Antifa out of New Hampshire saying, take jury duty. Everyone tries to get out of jury duty. It's like it's a big pain in the ass. But it's honestly the easiest way you can make a difference as a single human being. If it's any kind of bullshit crime, drug possession, victimless crime, anything that's none of your business, you just say, not guilty. He also posted this, saying you don't have to be a pro-communist to be an anti-fascist. Anyone who fought in World War II could tell you that. And here we also see Chase Oliver defending the evil organization back in 2020 after Trump announced that Antifa would be designated as a terrorist organization. And so what he did here is he reposted a Facebook post from Spike Cohen, also of the Libertarian Party, which tried to say that there is no Antifa organization, which is patently false. There are dozens of splintered groups all over the U.S. Although they may not have a unified boss, a lead that governs all these organizations as far as we know, their loyalty to their brand of anti-right-wing, anti-Donald Trump, anti-capitalist fascism, which they lump together, as well as their love for socialism and communism, this is what keeps them unified. And Oliver should know this, and I suspect he does. Anyway, the post-millennial goes on to write that in addition to hating on Trump and showing favorability towards Antifa, Oliver has also stated that he is fine with Drag Queen Story Hour, which is a San Francisco-based initiative that brings drag queens to libraries to read books to children about gender identity because he claimed that the practice isn't sexualized. Which, of course, is complete nonsense. That is precisely what it is meant to do. Which is why so many parents are in an uproar over this recent trend to openly sexualize little children. It is a vile practice that needs to be rooted out from our society and treated like the cancer it is. Anyway, speaking of sexualizing children, on other LGBTQ plus issues, Oliver is in favor of allowing minors to get puberty blockers, as well as hormones for sex changes. This, according to the post-millennial, meaning he is in favor of sterilizing children, as well as promoting mental illness. Anyway, the post-millennial goes on to write that Oliver posted in 2021 that businesses should also be able to implement vaccine mandates for their employees. He only took issue with mandates when it reached the level of government imposing the mandates. So essentially, he is fine with the authoritarian mode as long as it's not directly from the government. Gotcha. Here we go. And surprise, surprise, Oliver backed leftist President Barack Obama, saying in 2012, only 1 week away from the Obama fundraiser I am a part of. I hope to see all my damn and independent Facebook buddies come out. We will even take Republicans, smiley face, as long as they're willing to donate. So essentially, this guy is a radical leftist. He's just wearing libertarian clothes. Anyway, they go on to write that Oliver supports open border policies and has said that the United States does not need border security. Really? He also said he would prefer that immigration and customs enforcement be abolished. So, ICE. This, by the way, aligns completely with the radical leftists like Antifa are all about. What crack is this guy smoking? Anyway, here's a couple of posts from him. This one says the U.S. already has entry points that exist on the southern border. You simply allow anyone who isn't wanted for extradition, asylum requests excluded, who isn't carrying a dangerous communicable disease and has a desire to work to come through and receive documentation to that effect. Let labor move in or out of the U.S. without constraints. We don't need border security theatrics. We need Ellis Island immigration. Melt ICE down. What an idiot. I mean, tone deaf at bare minimum, but I'm just going to stick with my original thought of idiot. So, in other words, this man is all about the radical destruction of this country through mass migration. The man is a fool. He's a clown. And the Libertarian Party has embraced the lunatic with open arms. But I can't imagine any self-respecting libertarian voter who would actually want to align with this guy. There are some that I'm sure will do it just because, like people will hold their nose and vote for a Republican or Democrat that they don't like. But this is an embarrassing move for the party. I mean, what are they thinking here? But regardless, the move is done, and the march towards the 2024 election cycle goes right on. This is going to be a weird year, and rest assured we'll be keeping track of everything as it continues to develop. Anyway, from the To Be Frank show, I am Adrian, my friends. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all in the next video.